Since the start of the war between United States, Israel, and Iran, 28th of February 2026, Israel and America have been pounding Iran for the last 5 days, and at the initially they thought that they were going to win this war within like 2-3 hours or maybe a day. Like they just killed the top officials of Iranian IRGC, Iranian government, and Iranian forces, and above all that they killed their supreme leader. And the calculation was that if we launch this major blow, the initial major blow, and unleash a huge bombardment of the Iranian government on the Iranian government, we are straight going to win this war. There will be no resistance. There will be no people to fight. There will be no people to order or command the forces to fight back. But the problem that happened is the Iranians had a plan. They were anticipating this. They were in a dialogue, but they had already been betrayed by United States and Israel in the dialogue, so they were not going to trust them anyway. They were dialoguing on the face of it, and underneath that they were preparing for a war. And they have been doing it for like 25 years. Everybody knows it. And they have been saying this for a very long time, that we have been preparing for this war for a very long time. We have a lot of resources underneath the surface of the earth, and they are buried underneath the surface 500-600 feet under, and there is no bomb. Even the GBU-57, the most celebrated bomb, or the most talked about bomb, the so-called GBU, Great Penetrator, cannot penetrate the mountains, the layers of mountains of hard rock of 500 to 600 feet. There is no bomb on Earth. Even I am doubtful about the nuclear bomb has the capacity to penetrate that deeper. But that's a separate thing. Now, the plan of Iranian government or Iranian forces was never to defeat the United States, because they cannot, simply. The United States has the largest air power in the world in terms of weaponry, in terms of technology, in terms of stealth technology. That is their main power. And on the other hand, they have a heavy naval presence in the region, and they have a lot of big carriers moving around the Iranian waters, as well as in the Arabian waters. So there was no question that Iran was going to think that they could just repel them. But the plan that they had made, and the plan was not made just in isolation. They planned this resistance with China and Russia. So the plan was that you have to face the initial blows. You have to sustain, you have to resist the initial 2-3 months, and force the Americans to come on the ground. So when they come on the ground, they launch their forces into the Iranian territory, then the Russian and Chinese plan is going to come into play. Like, it's kind of, they are going to start another thing like US and NATO has been doing in Ukraine. What has been happening in Ukraine? NATO and Europe has been helping Ukrainian people, and they have been providing them with the logistics, with the weapons, with the missile defense, with everything they need to fight this war. But they're not providing them the people. So that is The same thing is going to happen here in Iran. As soon as the moment the American or Israeli forces are going to land in Iranian territories, the Russian and China's plan is going to start. So it is easier to help the forces who are fighting on the ground than to supply larger weapon systems. Like, imagine if China is going to supply a missile from Beijing to Tehran. It's going to be difficult in this situation. Even those ships are going to be intercepted. So that's a problem for that. And on the other hand, Russia is already been struggling in Ukraine, and it cannot help Iran openly. But there is another angle to this. You should remember that Russia helped Assad regime in Syria, and America and Israel forced that regime to fall and helped the rebel forces, and that regime fall, and Assad had to flee to Russia. And now Russia can open that front as well. In Syria, when everybody is fighting right on the ground, the Russian forces or Russia can start helping the people pro-Assad regime to come back to power again. So this thing is going to play out like this. Like, Iran is not going to capitulate. It is going to resist, and it has been told that you have to resist. You have to start it. We are not going to help you from the day one. And you saw it. If the Chinese and Russians had helped Iran, there would be no bombing like this. There would be no free movement in the Iranian airspace by United States, by Israel. There would have been so many F-35s going down, because the Chinese and Russian missile defense systems would have been working. But you didn't see it. Why? Because they are not on the ground. So they are going to help Iran in their war effort, in their resistance, when the American forces or Israeli forces are going to fight them on the ground. So that is why you can listen to this statement by Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov, that China and Russia will make it impossible for the Americans and Israelis to win this war. So you can see this posturing of the great powers in this war. Yeah. The other thing is, now the United States you can listen to the media, and other people have started to say that this war can stretch until September. So the America knows that the Iranian forces are going to resist for as long as they can. So in my opinion, we will see the American forces on the ground, and then we will see the major war starting. So this is just a beginning. This is not a war. This is just a beginning to a